I love America and Americans. They're lovely people. It's a nice country to visit. I have a respect for the country as a whole, despite how many jokes I make about them. I think we all know they have a tendency to say very, very silly things. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So someone has posted a picture of an Australian $10 bill. It's very obvious it's an Australian $10 bill because it says Australia right there. That's fake. $10 bills have Alexander Hamilton on them. I'm not sure who that is on yours, but there has not been a change of the $10 bill. That'd be because it's an Australian $10 bill, not an American $10 bill. I don't want your pity. I want you to understand. I don't give a fuck. I have this magical thing called a spine, and I find it ridiculously funny you're trying to lecture me on a word that also reflects me. I'm 38.52% Japanese. So my guy, chill. How do you get that specific? How do you get it to the closest 0.1%? I was told by my family I was of Scottish and Irish descent, also British. I did my DNA and it turns out I'm 33% Scottish, 33% British. They're the same thing. British and Scottish, they're the same thing. Do you mean English? 19% Irish and the rest Welsh. Welsh also falls under British. My family also loved German baked goods, so led me to believe possibly some German. Yes, because you love German baked goods, that means you must be a bit German. I love sushi. That must mean I'm a bit Japanese, surely. And let's confuse Americans, and it's just like a really oddly drawn map of Europe. Like, the lines between the borders don't mean anything at all. I don't think. American are not at all confused. Well, you should be, mate, because the lines are random. What? So this was posted in r/Italian learning. How to Italianize my name. I'm studying abroad this fall and I want to go buy a more Italian version of my name while I'm there. Well, that's not your name, is it? It's just a personal preference. I feel like the flow of my speaking and my accent gets a little messed up when I have to say my name in a sentence. I think it will help me feel more immersed in the culture. My name is Kaylin. What Italian names or nicknames are most similar? Kayliano. There we go. That's a good. That's a real Italian name. Attended the band concert tonight. About half the parents acted as if they didn't know what to do during the national anthem. The Mexican flag holding a place of honor beside the American flag was disturbing to me. I get that a lot of the students have Hispanic heritage. I have German heritage, but never expected to see my heritage flag in an American public school. Man, that's our state flag. How'd you mistake that for the Mexican flag? Where are the colours? When will you marry me? Mean age at first marriage for women and men. It's got the data for that from European countries. Funny to post in the US and not have the US in the data. Yes, that is awfully peculiar to post something in the US and not have US data. I'd hate to live somewhere where I need a car to get groceries, visit a friend, or grab a coffee. That aside, you did a great job of creating a nicely landscaped area. You just walk to get groceries? People do that? Yeah, I've done that for the last how long have I lived alone? I've lived alone for like 8 years. No, 7 years I've been doing that for. I just walk to the supermarket and get my food. Europeans, when they see the public transit options to the 2026 World Cup, tell them to be adults and rent a car. It's more expensive, plus you have to find a place to park it or pay more to be at a parking lot. Maybe you shouldn't be going to the World Cup if you can't afford something like renting a car or paying for parking. Genuine question, because the stadiums that are hosting the World Cup, I assume they're probably like 60 to 80,000 seaters. Where do all the cars go? Because that must be like say 2 to a car, 30,000 cars. Where do they all go? Maybe you shouldn't own a house if you can't afford a mansion. Maybe you shouldn't live if you can't afford cancer treatment. Maybe you shouldn't eat if you can't afford organic food. Maybe you shouldn't travel if you can't afford first class. If you're too poor to rent a car, then you shouldn't be attending the World Cup. What kind of logic is this? America is car culture. We're not spending tens of billions on rail lines just so poor foreigners can get to the game cheaper. I mean, or you could do that to, make the infrastructure within the country a bit better. I love watching Eurovision, but it still saddens me that America doesn't get invited because our superstars would obliterate everyone. I mean, there's probably going to be something about the fact that America is not in Europe, so it can't be in Eurovision, but we have Australia in Eurovision now for some reason. Also, I feel as though Eurovision has more to do with like politics than music a lot of the time, so it wouldn't necessarily be down to the person's talent, even though that's just not, even though this statement just isn't true. How the weather in Slovenia changed in just one day, and they put the timestamps of the dates in the corner so we know the days. That's 1 month, not 1 day. Shaking my head, of course, an American. Oh yes, the 15th and 16th months of the year. They do have a really silly dating system, don't they? I'm convinced stores in Europe are filled with cans of World War II rations and water. Yeah, we just don't have food over here. No, just normal sized items. LMAO, define normal size for a family of 4. What are you on about? A British person visiting Applebee's is potentially eating at the most decadent restaurant they've ever been to. Where do you think we eat? I've been to an Applebee's before, and I mean, I feel as though Applebee's gets a lot of stick from Americans. I think it's decent. I do like an Applebee's whenever I go over to the States. There's essentially no equivalent to Applebee's in the UK. Any restaurant accessible to the majority of people has far less variety and much smaller portions. Well, yeah, I mean, we typically have smaller portions in the UK. But, I mean, to say that Applebee's is potentially the most decadent restaurant anyone here has ever been to is crazy. I'm born in the US, but I am definitely Sicilian. No, you're not. I am American of Italian descent. My mother was born in Italy. So you are American, your mother is Italian. That does not make you Italian. To be Italian, you need to grow up in actual Italy or hold an Italian passport. So I'm American, but I have an Italian name. You know what? This person isn't like, I'm 1/16th Sicilian, so that means I am an Italian American. I will give them this. I will allow them to have the label of Italian. As a non-Italian man, I bestow the title upon thee. Best-selling vehicle in the US versus the best-selling in France. That is just excess in it. That's excess. You don't need a car that big. Wow, Europause on life support. I mean, I can't believe I'm going to stick up for the French here, but no. Maybe don't take 6-month holiday every 3 months and you might be able to afford a truck. What the fuck are you on about? This is Furukawa, I hope I pronounced that right, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. The most Nintendo thing ever. Confirming their next console will be announced in the coming year in a 3 a.m. Twitter post. Yeah, because there's different time zones in the world. There's different time zones. I didn't play in American sports, and my family on both the Scots and the Irish side took me to compete in the Highland Games as a teen. Had my first oath to my clan at 15. Me when I wanted to join a Black Ops 2 clan. I speak Gaelic and I'm a registered Fenian. I don't know how to pronounce that word, sorry. And yet I get called Plastic Paddy. Plus the security organisation I'm in, all our men and women call me Sergeant Irish lol, but it's whatever, right? Well, that is just cringe. Why would you comment that on something? How many wars has Australia... Yeah, 1. How many countries have you prevented from speaking German or Japanese? I mean, they did help in World War II. You know that, right? Or how have you stopped the spread of communism? Oh, right. Oh, that's right. You can't even stop the Islamization of your own front yard. Flags are the same colour, but yours run. Ha, we kicked England, started our own nation. Yours is just an outpost, and your flag has the Union Jack on it, and it's a cat. I'm guessing they're calling them pussies because they haven't won as many wars. Chilling final words of pilot before Air France plane crashed into Atlantic, killing 228. This is why I never book flight tickets from airlines that are based in less developed countries compared to the US. You know that like Air France will use the same aeroplanes as what are used with US airlines. Polish, Ukraine, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Lithuania, and Latvia all have similarities in their language. It's almost like going to Boston and then going to Kentucky and then to Alabama and then to Texas. No, it's not. They're different. They speak different languages. All English, but I mean, it's not. They don't speak the same language. Am I the only one that feels like slapping something? Whenever I hear a Brit, an Aussie, or a Kiwi talk with their put-on accents, what? The reason Americans sound the way they do, at least west of the Mississippi, is because we don't have accents. Yes, you do. Everywhere has an accent. American tells person to leave Ireland.
Go on, get out of here. Leave Ireland, get out of here. We don't want you here. Get out of here. Leave this country. Leave this island. You're not wanted here.
You're not from there either, mate. What are you talking about?
Okay, go get a job or leave Ireland. You're not welcome here. You and your people. You can go away. Go back to Romania.
You can tell this American geezer is just trying to put on an Irish accent, but his American accent is shining through.
I'm not leaving him alone. Because they're not leaving us alone.
I'm from Belfast, I'm born in Belfast.
Yeah, I'm born in New York and I can't fucking live in Ireland because I've been deported from here. It has everything to do with you and him. You have to support Irish people. You support Irish people.
You're not Irish though. You're from New York. And they call the 24-hour clock military time. Who has a 24-hour clock? Me. It's just... It's better. A 24-hour clock is far superior to a 12-hour clock as long as you have the ability to count above the number 12. Like and subscribe for 24-hour clock.